Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stone and Void. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, joined as always with Don Bowie,
Hey.
Patrick Collins.
Yeah.
This week in Force of Will, we're going over quite a few different things, mainly and most importantly, the upcoming February 1st errata for Reflect and Refrain.
Yeah.
Finally getting the much needed change it kind of needs for at least to get the people off of, the hype train of it being broken.
Yeah, everyone just complaining about it.
Yeah. I feel like this has made a lot of people less, tense about it. Like it definitely feels like people are relaxed a lot more. It does take place right after the tournament in California.
That we're going to.
Yes, which we're going to, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But overall, how do you guys feel about the errata?
I feel like it's a good errata. I feel like it was necessary because the feasting thing was out of control, and they totally didn't see it coming. Like, they didn't want feasting to actually be a turn 1.5 kind of thing to come out. So I feel like they just fixed a gameplay error, not Reflect and Refrain itself.
Yeah, that's definitely what I think was the best part about it. How do you really think it changes for like the actual decks that are out right now?
I personally think combo decks are gonna hit the hardest, just because that double filter for the Alice's World deck, I think they're gonna really miss that extra filter.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that you can't filter, like if you're going second, you can't filter on their turn now to begin with, so you don't have that extra card advantage when going second. I think, which is pretty important.
Definitely.
And then, as he said, the turn one feasting, can't happen. That's kind of a combo too. Aggro is still going to be thriving probably off of this, but let's see. And then control will be hit a little bit, not terrible, but combo will definitely get most of the axe.
We here have definitely, like, I remember the last couple episodes, and we've been stuck on Reflect and Refrain quite a bit for good enough reason, because that's pretty much what everybody else is
has a
talking
lot
about.
Of text on it.
That's true, a lot to cover. But for the most part, we haven't really thought it's too broken here, and that might be partially just our local meta. But the fact that it doesn't really change the aggressive matchup or really stop them from doing what that's already doing, and that's kind of one of the topping decks around, just going as fast as you possibly can. I don't really feel like the Reflect and Refrain, I don't feel like the errata itself is really that impactful. What I think it does is it allows players to actually take and weigh options a little bit more for the other rulers. I think this is where it's more important, is less that it's actually going to change how good Reflect and Refrain is than it is going to change the mindset of players and get them playing Dark Alice, feeling a lot more comfortable, because they're not worrying about your opponent. Oh, well, he's just going to counter everything I do. Like, I think a lot of people are defeated by Reflect and Refrain before they even sit down on the table. And that the mindset of, already defeating yourself is partially like half the game right there. And I think that's really where this errata shines, is that it just helps people get out of that mindset, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna buff a bit of the aggro decks, because the defending player can't give their own creatures +2/+2, so it just makes your own attacking creatures even bigger.
I mean, aggro's always been the star player in this game, though.
Yeah.
Like, control, I think, what was Grim the last control ruler that was great? Like,
Vlad.
Vlad's always been good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Vlad's a win condition on itself, and a very easy ruler to learn. Like, it's...
No, that's... easy to learn, hard to master with that one, because a lot of people definitely don't utilize her drain ability the correct way all the time, which is actually a ruler that I'm expecting to see coming up a lot more recently, or here soon, especially once the errata switches out. I think that's an easy one, because it already does pretty well against Reflect and Refrain. I think that in Dark Alice as well, I think the Dark Stone just rulers are definitely going to get a lot more of a push coming up soon. it takes them a little bit slower. I could see Abdul actually doing a huge impact against anybody who, like in the sideboard against anybody who wants to run like Alice World combo. I feel like there's definitely ways to interact a little bit better now that they can't just stack a million counters. So the deck does get hit a little bit, but that's also for the, like you said, the combo decks, the aggressive decks. Really,
do you think it'll
hurt
hurt Gerda at all? Because the counters won't be. I mean, I don't. Off of play testing, I feel like you'd still have enough counters, but maybe you wouldn't be able to flip it and counter something that someone else is playing.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna take a hit from the like counter and send stuff back to their hand and the search ability.
But I mean,
aggro decks.
Yeah, but with the Gerda and Lancelot, you're probably pushing in so much damage already. You probably almost don't care about countering something late game because you probably have already lost by that time anyways if you're at that point. I'm not positive. I haven't played with the deck
Depends
enough.
on how many like orb evolutions you have. And
that's true as well, yeah.
Because you're going to take 2 counters to give it flying and swiftness probably.
Heras are flying around everywhere now though. Everyone's playing with Hera. Like that card's amazing. Hera is a great card. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think Gerda, because of this change, Gerda might potentially see less play.
Yeah, I could see that being a small bit of a thing.
She's still going to land, like, the first 2 Gerdas are probably going to land with swiftness and flying.
At the very least.
Or even just one counter. The counter that you put on for the turn, giving it swiftness, being able to be a pseudo Lancelot on turn 2 is about all that it really needs, because that's all Lancelot is on the first turn. Is it doesn't get the extra abilities or anything else. It's just a swiftness on the ground 6/6 beater. And if the counter that it ate was the also +2/+2, then I mean it's actually bigger already anyways. Well, and you could say the same thing about Lancelot, except for you get to keep the counter. But all of this is like we're still just talking about the quickness rulers. I feel like the weight, reason, control was mainly hurt. Just to let people know what I think why that deck is really getting hurt is now Elf is killable on your when your opponent takes their turn, they can kill your Elf. Mana ramping and getting resources. You can't give 200 to the Elf anymore, so he stays in lightning bolt range. And also Guinevere, who I haven't seen much of lately, even in the aggressive decks, because you don't want to be spending the buff on her a lot of times. She has been kind of disappearing lately as well, even though she was regarded as one of the best red cards or still is pretty one of the best red cards. All those cards will get hit even harder when they can't get out of lightning bolt range.
But I mean, Guinevere can still tap and sack herself to produce card advantage.
Right.
Some people actually are speculating because of the errata that Guinevere will actually see more play for that extra filtering.
Yeah. I can see that probably. Actually, now I think about it, I think it mainly it just kills the Elf. It kills little things that could help a control deck be a little bit better, which means you might as well just play a different ruler sometimes. Something that gives you a better edge, like more consistency, like being able to tap for green and red off of Sylvia, or even Blazer coming back just for the mana producing abilities for those more restrictive decks. Since aggressive might get a little bit stronger, and they might start hitting on all of these ruler memorias that are coming out right and left. Everybody's really trying to stack in the 5 color, stones. That's getting split in heaven and earth is huge.
Yeah. I love Hera-ing somebody's regalia and them getting at that ruler's memoria. I did that to Dawn, but he still beat me.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah. That was a sad day. I was very excited, but it was short-lived.
I feel like the Orb of Illusion is going to take a hit too, because it takes 2 counters to do that.
To draw a card?
To draw a card, and you can't get a counter on each turn, so it's going to kind of lessen that load a bit.
It'll make you want to remember to actually tap it to add a counter more often than not now, because that's the number one most forgotten ability on that card is I forget that it adds a counter in a lot of games, which usually doesn't matter. I'm usually doing really well at the point that I'm starting to forget, but it's still something that now I'm going to have to be in the habit of tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
Small play mistakes like that will really matter when you're low on counters.
Reflect and Refrain, without the errata, you're getting overloaded with so many counters. Like each turn, you're like stacking and stacking.
Yeah.
Like usually, you never run out of counters. It's very rare unless you're using it every turn to like draw a card or something.
It becomes very nonsensical after a while. It's very true. But no, the errata I think will at least shake everything up a lot. And we'll see that definitely going in since we've been test playing for a lot for the tournament, which if you guys get a chance to go down to the, where's it at?
Pasadena,
California. I'm going there, but I can't remember for the life of me where the heck it's at any given time. But we're definitely going to be down there.
You're
so
going there.
Just come up, say hi to us, whatever. If you do see us down there, it'd be cool to meet people that actually watch our videos.
Yeah.
The whole 3 of you that do. No, actually, thank you guys a lot for commenting a lot recently and things like that. We appreciate it a lot. The other thing that they're going to be doing at the tournament that I'm actually kind of surprised that to see down there is the really cool gold art promo card. And
they brought him to the U.S.
Yes. So that's something that I thought was just a Japanese thing, is that they're going to be getting the gold ones and the clear see-through Dark Alice, and that seems to be at all of the tournaments right now.
I think it was for the first 2, so Pasadena and whatever the other one was before this.
So we don't know if they're going to continue that.
They might change the ruler. Yeah.
I really hope it's Reflect and Refrain on ours, please, so that way I can win one.
No, it's Dark Alice on ours. It's Pasadena.
Oh, it's definitely going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Still like it. I still like the idea. It's still really, really cool. I heard that news listening to the head judge that's actually going to be there, which is Alexander. Sorry. Who has a really good YouTube channel. If you ever seen it or check, definitely go check it out. He has a lot of good content on there. He's the head judge for the thing, which is,
Pasadena tournament.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I like that these are really good community set pieces where we can get to know a lot more of the Force of Will community. It's really big here where we're at, but there's not a lot of, or we don't hear a lot about it elsewhere. We see tournaments that basically are the size of our local tournaments sometimes for like bigger things. So I'm definitely curious to see how many people are going to show up and everything about that. I don't know if we talked anything about the or what you guys definitely think about the Dark Alice promos.
I love Dark Alice.
Cool. Yeah, you're a Dark Alice player.
I love Dark Alice. I'm trying so hard to make a deck for Pasadena around Dark Alice, but it's proving very tough. My endeavors, but yeah, I think Dark Alice is beautiful. I know I ragged on her before when we were doing the spoilers, and then I played with her on the pre-release, the only Dark Alice player of the pre-release, and I kicked some butt. I still went. I went 1 and 2, but I lost to like 2 like just perfect Sylvia decks. Like they were unstoppable. Like
those were brutal. I remember those.
They were. There's no way I could beat them.
Yeah,
but I had but I was like, Dark Alice, like, you're my girl. Like, I'm going to try to make you work. And
Dark Alice actually topped in one of the Twitter channels. I forgot what it's called, but it took number 1.
Dark Alice is recognized as probably being the second best ruler after Reflect and Refrain now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, like, there's, before, I think everyone thought she was one of the worst.
It did seem really, like, mana intensive at first.
Yeah.
Or at least clunky in a way that we didn't think it'd be clunky. But then again, there's a lot more cards hitting the ban a lot more rapidly with the current format. Especially just Harris blowing up stuff. People constantly trying to just get early game board advantage. There's a lot more going to that she can actually pick off and send away, which makes her a lot more playable. I definitely think she's way better than I definitely didn't give her enough credit.
Yeah, me neither.
And there's something cool about it. I don't know if you guys know about this. I could also be wrong, but when you declare that you're going to Judgment with Dark Alice, they have to like, do something in response to that, because once you declare the number of her board wipe ability, they can't respond to that board wipe.
That makes sense, yeah.
They can't respond to that, so you can't. You have to be like, oh, I'm gonna Judgment, and then when you're like, and if they don't respond, and they're like, you're like, oh, I declare 4. It's like, well, I want to bounce this guy. It's like, no, you can't bounce that guy anymore. You had to decide before I Judgmented.
That's interesting.
So like there's a lot of quirky things about about Dark Alice that we're not really exploiting too much yet. But
for some reason, it wipes something of a certain converted will cost is. I blank on that every time you play that against me, and you played against me a million times. Me and you are in the finals of our locals almost every other time, and you've played Dark Alice many times against me, and I forget about that every single time, and I don't know why I can't
it's a
remember
pseudo board wipe. It's really strong.
Yeah, and nope, it's
like the first line of her card. It's honestly like the hardest thing to remember about her,
and it's really strong every time too. It wrecks me. But she's a good contender. I definitely would not be surprised to see one of her in even the top 8 or top 16. Well, maybe a couple of them in top 16 of the tournament, even before the errata. It's a good card, and I think it's overlooked, and I think the errata will make people look twice at all the other rulers as well. I definitely don't feel it's as balanced as the format that we had right before this. I'm not talking about Bahamut meta. I'm talking... Everybody still considered it Bahamut meta. I can speak, guys. Bahamut meta during A1, but I felt there were so many viable decks during that time period that it really got away from that. Which we said, then everybody was like, it's Blazer meta, but it wasn't. It spiraled to so many.
It was Blazer for a while, but then Arla popped up because Bo was like, oh, the big breakout card. Like everyone thought, like Bo wasn't that powerful, but then it ended up being just extraordinary.
It was just nutty,
and it's still being used. Was over there for a while.
Yeah, the Regalia deck. Valentina saw some play. Rezard saw some play. So yeah, and then Priscia saw some play in the beginning. I don't think she really had any too big a following, but
no, but I still have a full art deck of that.
She's one of the more fun decks to play with, though.
Very much so. Really good decks back then. I was even playing an Alexandra deck that was just wrecking at the time too, which I don't know. There's a ton of fun interactions at that time, and I really hope that the next set is much more that open play style of A1. They've been saying that it's a lot more balanced, and the rulers are a lot more interesting. And he hasn't really said what is interesting about them. Other than the fact that we've got some art for a few of the new cards, which let us speculate the crap out of. Like these goblin sitting at the table, sipping his blackened mimosa with some lizard
on a stick.
Lizard on a stick.
Definitely a very interesting choice, and I'm interested to see if you guys have anything to say about this guy, or what do you think is going on in the new set?
I mean, it has to be a field spell, right? Like that's the only thing that comes to mind when I see this card.
That would make sense, like a molten, like Venice looking place.
Yeah, I mean it's a area. It can't be a summoned goblin card. He's dead. He's totally burnt up.
Oh no, he looks pretty happy.
Yeah, no,
he died happy.
He can die happy. But there's dragons in the background, so there's some things there. Dragons are coming back.
His whole city's burning. Might as well.
Like, this is probably around the Certo, that volcano Certo or whatever.
Oh,
That's all in all the other cards. Yeah, maybe Sylvia just went bonkers and just like, hey, I want to kill everyone who locked me up.
Yeah, no.
Because she escaped from a jail or got released from a jail or something like that.
Is she in jail?
In the lore, she was like, she was confined somehow or something like that.
Well, so okay, we might all just be really off on the lore here because honestly, I haven't read the lore, but what I was listening to, I read the first Grim lore stuff, but this new lore stuff I haven't read too much about. What I thought was happened is she freed all the dragons.
Okay,
maybe those were confined. I don't know.
She is a dragon.
She is a dragon. There was some stuff. It was locked up. It is now free, and this might be the consequences of said actions. Seems highly possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some dragons flying around in the background.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a good chance that we might find out a lot more about this art on Tuesday when this video releases, considering that spoilers do start this week, so we won't just be overly talking about artwork next time. We'll actually get to talk a little bit about what's going on in the set. Whether or not it's going to be anything like this, or it's going to be the return of were-rabbits like a lot of people are hoping for. But right now, the only thing that we do have is the artwork for a were-rabbit, who I think this looks like the same girl that we had in the...
that bounces?
Yeah, the one that bounces, the 3-mana one. She looks very Valentina or Valentina looking.
Oh, with their breathing apparatus.
Yes, apparently rabbits need to breathe as well. Who would have guessed? A really awesome, huge sword. It definitely, I mean, this shows at least one were-rabbit's at least coming back. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well, Don had an interesting point about moon mana earlier, right?
Yeah, so if were-rabbits are coming back, do you think moon mana is coming back also?
Very likely.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool. I would love to see a stone devoted to just...
I mean, maybe that's what the next dual stones are. Maybe they're all going to be colors and moon mana. Don't you think? Like red moon mana, blue moon mana.
That would be cool, but then it wouldn't really help out anything outside of this set. So I feel like that might be a little bit hard to really...
What, you think like the beast, sacred beast stone is going to help?
No, but it definitely does fit and there might be beast in the next set, but it helps that whole entire block as a whole, and so I'm not helping myself here, but it's one stone, so I could see a single stone,
probably blue then.
Yeah, really working a Memoria, because that's what this whole set is really based around, is the Memorias. I could see one being centered around the were-rabbits, the Moon Memoria or something like that. Could be kind of cool to have.
Do you think they're going to release Memorias again for the next set?
I think they're be called some other kind of stone.
Yeah.
What was in the A1 stones?
So A1 and A2, it's all been Memorias. Is what gives this land its power. This is where I actually read a little bit of the lore, guys. Yay! In the first one, it was the True Redstone and things like that. There was it was slightly different.
You're talking about the Grim block, right?
Yeah, the Grim block. Yeah. So their power came from a little bit different, and also the regalias are part of the power in this world. It works with the Memorias, which are memory stones, which is like how Lancelot's actually summoned and why she gets summoned in two different, or she's a he in one art and reversed in the other.
There's actually a reason for
yes,
that?
it actually depends on who summoned Lancelot and from what time plane, and there can only be one in existence at a time. Now, I may have had a trippy dream where this came from, but I could swear I heard the hoodie guy. I'm really sorry I keep calling you the hoodie guy. That's all I can remember your
Jordan.
name as. I know it's Jordan, but it's hoodie guy. I believe he was talking about that's actually how Lancelot was summoned, and that there's actually a few of them that reside inside the Memorias. Could be completely wrong.
So we might get a stone that's called Lancelot's Memoria? Is that what you're kind
of... No, I don't think there would be, but how cool would it be to, and this would just be broken for a red deck, a red stone that allowed you to tap, sacrifice, search your deck for Lancelot to play.
I don't think they're going to focus anymore on Lancelot. I really hope they don't.
There's a lot of Lancelots. What if there's a man land for
Well, I think a land that searched for, and we shouldn't really call them lands, stone that searched for a creature would be the closest thing that they really did to that. I don't think there's ever going to be, and I doubt that they might actually have them. So I'm not going to say never because we don't work with the company. We don't know. But something that more searches with them would be a stone that they made. A stone that actually turns into a creature might be a while out. I don't think it.
A golem.
Yeah. I just feel like it's a mechanic that would be kind of hard for new players to grasp early on without a large player base to really help support it, because we've had problems with rules already where without a large player base, sometimes you're just making up stuff as you go. That's why when the turn 1.5 feasting play came out, it felt like an urban myth, back before we had the internet all the times. And this might just be because I'm starting to get a little old here. There was, back with Pokemon, you would speculate, there's totally a Charizard evolves into another thing called Charcoal, and just stupid urban myth stuff that obviously isn't real. And that's what the turn 1.5 like feasting thing kind of felt like for like the first couple days until, because nobody was really talking about it on the internet. It was kind of like,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I discovered it in some like Facebook comments.
Yeah, and it just that right there feels very urban mythy, which doesn't happen when a game has a huge community that's completely up on everything. So it's definitely just shows that as amazing as this game is, and as many people are already playing it, it is still very new. But Reddit, we all need to take to Reddit more and stop posting just deck text.
Just deck text all over the Reddit subreddit.
Yeah. It would be nice to see a little bit more stuff there. But in which way, we're getting a little bit away from where we're at, which was still talking about these artworks, which is there's 2 more to go. And I kind of wanted to get to this one that's staring me in the face here, is this little blue, what type of uniform is that?
Kind of a sailor, something like that.
Sailor-esque uniform. Oh, now I remember this one. There was something that Jason, the hoodie guy, was...
Jordan,
sorry. Hoodie guy, you're forever hoodie guy because I keep messing up your name. Was talking about somebody was freaking out about there was a sailor with a hat that looked really.
They thought he looked like a Nazi. I don't really
which
see
doesn't.
it.
If that's if this is the art that everybody's talking about, this this is a very generic.
He's probably part of that music person. There's that new music gal who's going to be in the set. Who's like Valentina's underling, but is no longer part of Valentina's army anymore. Forgot what her name is, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be a ruler.
That's really cool. He has Articuno hanging up on his shoulder there, which is pretty awesome. So
he looks like a maestro of some sort.
Oh, he does have Articuno.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Definitely into whatever they're doing. The whole music subsets thing, I think they were talking about it not being a creature typing, and that it's just a theme.
Mozart's a composer, though. Maybe they're composers.
But that's vingolf stuff, which we actually really want to talk about that for a second.
Articuno.
Oh!
Pokemon confirmed.
They already said that they're not doing Pokemon.
That's so good.
That's like the definite, they said, no, we're not doing Pokemon.
just for a moment, just small Pokemon, please. No, last art real quick, and then I actually want to talk about the vingolf stuff, is the looks like an attempted assassination on Valentina via Priscia and her little tiny dagger that is... the most different artwork. Like, this is like American style comic book art. Mm-hmm. Is definitely the style of this one, which is much more different than any of the other artworks that we've actually seen, which is cool. Everybody is either in love with the artwork of this game or doesn't. Like, it's a hit or miss with a lot of people with the artwork. I personally love everything that they've done.
I like the creatures, like Yamada.
The new Faria is pretty like American artish too. It's like
the dark one,
realistic. No, not the
Faria?
white one. The J-Roy one that came in A1
okay. Mm-hmm.
is like really American style art, not anime at all. Kind of reminds me of Magic.
I didn't really like it.
Yeah,
too much. I like the birds; they were super realistic. But,
The artwork that I know people most likely don't like is the vingolf box artwork.
Yeah, well, that was me. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Well, no, I actually talked about that even a little bit on our comment section of last video, and I've talked to that about just about everybody else. Like, when trying to sell this game here in the store, that is the number one most thing that I get talked about when they're trying to start a deck. They're like, everybody said I'm supposed to buy this vingolf box, but it's nothing but little girls, and I don't want to be a perv, and it's like... just buy a box of A1. You'll actually be way better off now at this point. Like, it's actually nice to just have better options into the game, especially with the starter decks, which I am basically out of. And there's a lot of good ways to getting in. But the vingolf box, my God, the vingolf box. There's so much hype running around these things.
Which anime? We need to know.
I definitely feel like it's going to be an anime that has a lot of main cast characters, so that way there's enough for every part of the color grouping. Yeah. The video game that they did for the last one, the more that I look into it, they had a huge roster of things to pull from, and that is really what I think they're going to be looking for when they go to try to make it out of a video game. I don't think they're going to do like Sword Art Online, where Credo is 30 different cards, and you know.
There's a lot of different characters in Sword Art Online, though.
Sword
I
Art
don't
is
think it's going to
terrible.
be Sword Art
Yeah.
Online, but
Please don't be Sword Art.
No, there is. I'm just kind of more or less making fun of the Kirito. Is, you know, this, he does everything in that show. I don't know. It's a decent enough show. I'm not trying to knock it, but it does have its character.
You mean Kirito?
Kirito. What? I didn't really.
Credo.
The show that is not as good
Rocky
as Dot Hack
versus
Sign.
Credo.
Ooh, this Rocky Vingolf set.
Well,
No.
it's Apollo Creed versus Rocky, so Credo. Yeah.
We've heard some theories that it might be like Fairy Tail.
Fairy Tail's been the number one. I personally don't think it's going to be any super mainstream anime. I think it will be like an anime people like it is well known, but it's not like over the top popular where everyone knows what it is. Like I bet like a good like if you know anime then you know it, but I'm assuming I won't know the anime. Like that's what I'm getting at is like I won't know the anime that like,
Another one I like is a Fate Stay Night series.
yeah, they
Fate
comment
Zero.
that was commented on our
Yeah.
Yeah,
last
that
I'm pretty
one-
hype about that.
That's the one that I want the most, but I also feel like it, because it has such a huge world to work from and so many different characters, and the classes, like Archer for, you know, and if you've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about when Gilgamesh is, well, spoilers. I'm not going to go into that. Never mind. There is just a lot to work with the lore of that one.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Fairy Tail, and those are all great guesses. I honestly don't know what the set could possibly be based around. It'd be...
But I mean, the last Venn Golf box was based off a video game of generic characters. It doesn't really need to follow like a.
It wasn't
like
really-
Those
a-
might not be generic characters. Maybe it's like the main plot of the whole
Yeah,
story.
but I mean, what I'm getting at is they didn't really. Those characters don't look like they have elemental types. Like Hanzo is blue. Like, couldn't Hanzo be anything? Like, I'm just saying it could be an anime that doesn't have to have like kind of attribute based characters in a sense.
Yes, I get that, but having a large group of characters that are grouped into types usually occurs because there's enough of them. And having like 5 main characters in Sword Art, and sorry to keep going back to that one, you're running into how do you fill out the rest of the things? Oh, you bring in the people from the Laughing Coffin stuff, or aka the stuff from the side story, you know, the stuff going around the main characters, as to where something like any of the shonen, like even Dragon Ball Z, there's so many main characters that you could just slot into the cards that it's anybody that's on the good side type of thing, and like a few of the bad people that are really well known, so that way that's how I feel like they would do it. And no matter what they choose, I feel like this is a huge marketing opportunity for them, because then it allows people who are into that anime to really want to jump in and explore it.
Yeah, it'll probably be an anime that wants more viewers or something like that. It'll probably be like...
I just hope it's not like one of those animes that people kind of rip on and kind of hate because they're typical, like, popular
Danmachi.
anime. And
They're
stuff.
what?
Like Sword Art, there's like a huge list of people that hate Sword Art.
Yeah.
And if they choose that, like, I feel like it would hurt our chances of selling it because most people don't like Sword Art.
Like Danmachi.
Yeah, Danmachi's pretty bad too.
That's terrible. No, Food Wars would be awesome. I just thought about that. Forgot about that. Totally just do Food Wars. That would actually get 1 million people into it. There's a few different ways that you could go about it. Gonna go ahead and move this thing down like that. Sorry about that, guys. There's a few different options to go with. I don't know what would be the best option for it. This is just nothing but wild speculation at this point. Is there anything else that you guys might think it might be?
For Vingolf?
Log Horizon. I like Log Horizon.
I still need to see that. I kind of
cool.
hope it's something
It's like a better Sword Art.
kind of crazy. Like,
That worse
Well,
art.
with that, Dot Hack Sign. That's my personal choice that I would go. Wolf and Spice. Let's just have a set about Holo, actually. No, I could just kind of go on
I haven't
forever.
watched that yet.
It's 2 characters that they could have for every card, and it'd be great. I mean, my slice of life, you know. No. Really great options that they could go with. There's a million different things.
Yeah.
Definitely just comment down below if there's anything that you guys would like to add with that. I know that we were having a lot of fun talking about that in the last one, and we'll definitely try to hit you guys up in the comments as well if you guys want to talk about any of that stuff. About the only thing else that I really want to go over tonight is the promo cards for the play tournament that came out for February, and that's the full art white stone, which is not, I mean, we already had that artwork, and it's not something that I think anybody... It's nice to have a foil full art of a different...
It came from the Vingolf set, right? That was the Vingolf white stone?
No, they're... I'm sorry, the art, yeah.
It is, and it's also from the Melgus and Faria dual deck as well. So
right.
It's a decent one. I remember people liking the red art stone from that set a lot more, but maybe this means that they're going to do a full cycle of those stones in full art for us, which... If that ends up happening, that's going to be really cool because I'm going to spend all the money trying to get them. And
they released them on the first run of the dual decks, though, right? The full art lands? I don't know if
those
they were
different
foil.
art, though. Those were they were full art, but they were different art. They were from and I might be wrong on this, I think it was Moon Princess Return artwork.
Okay.
I could definitely be wrong on that. I know that it's something from the Grimm, and it was one card on the bottom of it, if that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I actually have a few of those, but yeah, they weren't foil. This is definitely going to be foil because all of our other promos are foil, and the one that I'm really excited to see in foil is this is by far the best version of her art, in my personal opinion, that I like the most, and it's the Alice creature card. She's the 600/600, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 colorless. And she gives pseudo hex or untargeted.
Pay blue too.
Pay blue.
I thought she was 7/7.
Can't be targeted.
Oh, 7/7. You're right.
Has flying. It's really good.
Yeah, really, really good card, and I love this artwork a lot. The colors on it are beautiful, and just everything about this game's artwork to me is amazing. I know you disagree about a few of them.
No, the Alice is actually pretty badass.
Yeah,
this card's cool. Like if most of the cards look like that, but I mean when they get really cartoony, or if it's just all about this area right here, then it's just kind of, or if it's all about showing the...
Hey, those are breathing apparatuses that are needed to
I'm actually not disappointed about Valentina, because she's supposed to be a seductress, but when every woman on the planet is a seductress for no reason at all, I get kind of upset.
Is it for no reason?
Some of the characters, yes, that's for no reason, like Feasting. Like, that's for no reason.
I don't think... Does she?
She's pretty sexualized.
True.
To me.
Yeah, over-sexualized cards I'm not a big fan of, just simply...
I'm actually fine with Valentina being over-sexualized because she is a control freak and she's a seductress. Like, that's like her thing.
Yeah, I am, but I'm not because it's on the poster for the main stuff. And this is really just me griping as a store person. And this isn't me griping as a store person in a normal store. This is me griping as a store person inside of a mall. And inside of a mall, the last thing association of people want to see is boobs that are doing just pointing to space. There's a bit of can you please move that to the back of your location kind of talk that kind of like rumbles around, and it makes it to where I can't display everything in the forefront. Having something that I can really put out in display and show that we have this is what I want for the game. I mean, we have a podcast for this, for crying out loud. Like, we love this game. It's something that we really want to show that we do. And overly sexualized art hurts that for us personally. Mm-hmm. And I imagine this actually happens to more stores than us. There's a lot of you that are going to be in, in malls as well. And despite maybe your local store is nothing but dudes that hang out in the back of a basement.
Hey.
And,
let's go stare at the Valentina poster.
Hey man, that's most of us.
So if that's your local group, I'm not hating. That's cool that you guys get to do whatever you want to do. But here it's it's a family oriented stuff, and I don't want the game to be that way.
Especially when the pre-release mat was Valentina's over-sexualized, shot down from over-sexualization mat.
Oh yeah, that was really fun to show off for a minute there. Yeah, nobody uses that mat surprisingly.
Cole did to an FNM.
Yes.
So
it turned in front of all the Magic players.
It turned a couple people off from the game because it was too over-sexualized.
Yeah.
That's the main complaint.
But she is supposed to be over-sexualized, though. I'm a little mad that she was the Matt. I mean, I like her as a character and stuff, but like, I kind of wish it seems like the Matts are almost always female characters, if not.
Well, she is like the main bad guy villain.
But still, like, how many male characters are in the Matts though?
There are for a lot of the Grimm stuff, but I think they were produced by a different company and not by Force of Will. I don't think they were like buy a box Matts. Ooh, really quick, because I know that we're running this episode a little bit long. There's something that Jordan,
the hoodie guy,
yeah, did I get his name right?
Yeah.
Win. He said that there's something in addition to buying 3 boxes. You're not just getting the playmat and the buy box card for each card that you do. You also get something new and different, and whatever that is, he is just making us speculate. But I wanted to bring that up because that's something that we are already selling boxes like crazy of this game. Adding something else to it is just going to be on top. Like, even if it's just like a pin or something like that, like, people are losing their mind over these stuff. Like, way to go, Force of Will, for really adding more to the game.
Give us more stuff.
Rewarding your players like you're doing great. Thank you, Force of Will.
Yes. And like I said, we're running a little bit late on this episode, but there's one more thing that I actually wanted you to cover, which is you were listening to Jordan's
I love his voice.
Q&A that he, yes, sexy, beautiful voice that,
Yeah. Kind of weird.
You said that he was talking about, he gave us a little bit of a spoiler for the new set ahead of time.
Yeah. So, what it sounds like is he told us that there will be half the rulers in this set will be male and half of them will be female. And, it's been confirmed that there's 5 rulers in this set. There will only be 5, just like the last set.
But then how can half of them be male and female?
Okay, so that's the thing. So that brain boggles a few people, right? So one of the things was, could it be another ruler like Reflect and Refrain, where one side's a girl, one side's a boy? Mm-hmm. Well, he said that's not the case. So it's probably a genderless ruler.
Nice.
And then he led us to believe that it's probably Maribel. And this is very exciting. I personally was hoping that Maribel was going to be a resonator to make Mechana's deck a lot better. But yeah, so... And what was the other thing? Oh, he gave us the name of one of the Maribel sides of the cards. He said there was 2 names. I don't know if that means one side of a J. If it is a ruler, if it's one side, or just 2 names in speculation,
or 2 cards, perhaps.
Yeah, 2 different Maribel. Oh, that would be cool. 2 different. I doubt they would do that though. Yeah, but it was the insane. Self-aware machine, Maribel. Some crazy name, just like mass-controlled landmine. It's some crazy name for Maribel. But so right now, speculation is that we'll have Maribel as a ruler. I don't know if she'll have, or he, she, what genderless, whatever.
It's a she. Technically. Even though it's a machine, it was a. He found a regalia, and this is, I promise I didn't read the lore. It was a regalia that he found and he recovered to, I see why you do that, it's kind of funny. Yeah. He took it and rebuilt it so that way he had a regalia of his own because he didn't actually have one. And he created Maribel, which as far as I can tell is referred to as a she, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maribel's a girl name.
Yeah. But Maribel has always been a cool...
ginormous machine of hugeness.
It's a Mechana, like maybe that refers to Vingolf being a Mechana, kind of.
We theorized this like in a previous episode, didn't we?
Oh, I wasn't around.
Mechana was going to be a J ruler. The Regalias were going to be J rulers somehow.
Well, it seems like that's only going to be the case for. It would be cool if Levitine was a J ruler, but I don't think that's the case. But yeah, so it's
that would be kind of hard.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there you have it. Maribel is probably going to be a J ruler. And he's already said that there will be a blue, red, and green ruler. So that means maybe white or black won't have a color if Maribel is colorless.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Or dual colored rulers.
That would be cool.
Which they are kind of hinting that maybe, and especially very soon, we might be getting dual colored coming back. two cards, which would be really, really awesome.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of thinking that it's going to be in this set, which would make sense because on the third set of Grim Cluster is when they introduce the multicolored stuff. And so that would be a really cool thing, and we'll definitely see, because there are going to be spoiling stuff most likely on the day that this comes out, so we're going to be a week behind on actually doing spoiler stuff. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us here at Stone and Void. Was your host, Jay Phillips, joined as always with
Don Bowie.
And I was Patrick, as always with Jay and Don.
Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.